only. We're not financial brokers, and nor do we want to be. All right, keep going here. Okay, so my name's David Kushner. Like I said, I've been trading the markets for over 25 plus years. I trade stocks, I trade options, I trade futures, and sometimes some Forex. My background was I had automotive parts business that I started when I was 18 years old. Had that business for over 28 years, sold it in 2005, and since then I've been a full-time trader. So, like most of you, you probably have a whole shelf full of indicators, trading systems that came with a lot of empty promises of helping you become more profitable and more consistent trader. So I know that I have probably 2 or 3 hard drives full of stuff that I spent a small fortune on, and that I no longer use because I've been trading with the money flow tracker software for the last 4.5 years. And it's made me more profitable and more consistent trader. So when I saw a webinar that Mark Sachs did, and I saw the money flow tracker system the first time, I quickly realized that this methodology isn't based around the same old indicators that everybody else teaches, but more based on mathematical modeling and triple and quadruple screen analysis. And I'll get into that a little bit further on. I now only trade with institutional money flow. So when I talk about money flow or order flow from this point on, I'm only talking about institutional money flow. And it's made me much more profitable, much more consistent trader. And now I'm running over a 70% win rate. Okay. So this is the agenda for the webinar. We're going to talk about the money flow tracker software and how it works, the high probability setups, the unbreakable rules to follow, how I trade breakouts and sidestep losing trades, the money flow tracker auto trader, and how to pass the evaluations to become a funded trader. So if everybody can hear me fine and see my screen, we're going to keep going. So those who stay till the end of this presentation, I try to keep it around 45 minutes to an hour at the most. We have a very special discount plus some additional software as a quick action bonus. So why are you here? Can anybody tell me why you're here? Well, you're not getting the results because you're not getting the results you want yet. And you're not here to waste time, and neither am I. And you're not here to waste money either, you know, and you're sick of buyer's remorse. So what do I mean by sick of buyer's remorse? So people buy a system from somebody, they trade with it for a few weeks. At first they have some really good success, then they have a few losing trades, and then they're, you know, the markets change and the markets maybe get choppy, and they're done with the system after 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, right? I don't do that. I tell everybody that you need to give yourself at least 3 to 6 months. Some people, most people, you know, I've traded thousands, I've taught thousands of traders, okay? Most people get it within a few weeks with no problem, you know? So what do you want me to show you? You want me to show you high, consistent winning trades, solid performance that repeats daily. And look, the markets are here for us to extract money from it every day, but only if you have a setup and you follow your rules. So you need 4 things to trading success. First thing is software, and software that will provide you with a competitive edge over all other traders. And that software needs to track the direction of money flow, institutional money flow. Right? The third thing is etched in stone rules to follow, and this will eliminate discretion. And the fourth thing, which I believe is the most important, is patience. Patience and discipline to let the trade set up. I'm going to break down the system in detail, but let me show you a few trades that we've taken. Here is an options trade using the money flow tracker for 139%. Here was another one for 188%. On signals from the money flow tracker. Here's one on 30-year bonds. Now this was 41 ticks at $31.25 a tick. It's $1,281. Here's one on the euro. Right? Now I could show you tons of trades that I've taken, but I don't do that because that's not going to help you. Okay, and I'm here to help you. So it's likely you have a problem making money, or you wouldn't be here. Why? Because you don't have the proper tools to officially manage your trades. You overtrade. You revenge trade. You make impulsive decisions. This is the biggest one that most people don't follow. You lack consistency. You trade with indicators that lag price. You don't have a mathematical proven trade methodology. And all these things lead to blowing up trading accounts. So my commitment to you for attending this webinar is, well, let's bring this to an end, okay? Let's get you start making money and being a profitable trader. So why did I say that 95 to 98% of traders that use the following go broke? Like price action, MACD, Elliott wave, divergence, price patterns, Fibonacci's, and Gantt theory. You know, none of these have any future predictive properties. Now, I am not saying that the money flow tracker can predict the future, okay? That would be totally ridiculous of me to say. And nothing can predict the future, okay? But, you know, most retail traders lose money. Why? Because they're using the same old things that everybody else uses. So Mark Sachs has over 30 plus years, 35 plus years in the study of field of applied mathematics. He was a professor at Jefferson's University, and after 8 long years, he engineered the software system and trade methodology that can improve your trade performance called the Money Flow Tracker software. And we have over 500 traders that we trade shoulder to shoulder every morning between our 3 trade rooms. So before we get started, I want to share my trade journal. Now, I use an online trade journal. It's called Edgewonk. And every day I do my performance report in NinjaTrader, and I download it into this program. I'm downloaded into an Excel spreadsheet. And then every day when I'm done trading, I click on here. And here is mine from today, my sheet from today. And it imports it into this program. It imports the trade ID from NinjaTrader. It imports the entry, the exit, the instrument, everything about the trade. It imports into here. And, you know, here's my equity curve for this year. All right, nice equity curve. Yeah, we have ups and downs, but you know what? Overall, we're in a pretty good equity curve. The other thing I want to show you was our win rate is 75.23%, and our profit factor is 2.46, which means for every dollar we've risked, we've made $2.46. All right. Now I'm going to go back, like let's say to July, right? And you can see that there's a lot of days that we didn't trade, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days we didn't trade in July. But we still, July was a slow month. We still did in July $7,382. All right. So why didn't we trade these days? Right? We don't trade these days because we don't have setups. Okay, here's June. We didn't trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in June. And what did we do in June? $10,585. Okay, so this just goes to prove that you don't need to trade every day to make money in the market. Okay, so I wanted to share this because this is my trade journal. And you know what? The markets have been really, really tough lately. They've been very choppy and low volume too this summer. Last summer, we had a great summer. This summer, it was really slow. Anyways, the market consists of many small retail traders plus 1 or more large institutional traders. Well, if we already know that most retail traders lose money, why would you want to trade along with them? Okay, we want to trade along when institutions are trading, not when the retailers are trading, when the institutions are trading, because those are the ones that move the market. So the Money Flow Tracker software has 3 key metrics that determine money flow. The first one is triple screen assessment of correlative markets using our AI program, triple screen assessment of order flow, and triple screen assessment of the Laguerre for momentum. So what do I mean by triple screen assessment? Well, I like to keep things very simple, especially when I'm coaching people. Basically, it's 3 time frames in agreement. So if you're trading at 2 minute, everything is in multiples of 3. Your mid time frame would be 6. Your higher time frame would be 18. Now we trade with Unirenko bars, so we use range bars as our higher time frames. Now, if you have any questions, just put them in the questions box, and either me or Rory will answer them. So let's go. The first powerful force that moves price is triple screen assessment of order flow. So I know, as soon as I say order flow, people think about these order flow candles. With all these numbers on the left, on the right, on the bottom left, on the bottom right, on the right side of the chart, on the top. You know what? It is impossible for your brain to make sense of all these candles when the market's moving and make good trading decisions. All right? I've tried trading with these candles before. It's totally impossible. So we came up with our own order flow candles. So this is what our order flow candles look like. They don't have any numbers on it. We don't need to see the numbers. If the delta of the candle is positive, it will have a green outline. And if the delta of the candle is negative, it will have a red outline. Now, I like to keep things simple, like I said before, and the way I think about it, if I'm taking a long position, I only want to see green outline candles. Green outline candles. Why? Because I know I have more buyers in these candles than sellers. And if I'm taking shorts, I only want to see red outline candles. So if I have a setup, and let's say this was a setup for me and this candle was red, I wouldn't take it on this candle. I would only take a long on a green candle. So what do I mean by triple screen assessment? It means that we want to see order flow going in the same direction on 3 time frames. And this is a screenshot of what our charts look like. I just wanted to put this up here to show you how clean and easy to read the charts are. All our indicators are represented by these colored lines on the bottom, except the bottom oscillator. The colored background means we have 3 time frames in agreement. So you only need to look at one chart. You don't need to look at, let's say, a 5-minute, a 15-minute, a 30-minute to find out what's going on. We know what's going on by the colored background. So the second powerful force that moves price is triple screen assessment of the LIQUIDITY and also our hybrid candles. So again, we want to see the LIQUIDITY going for momentum in the same direction on all time frames. And the wicks. So the wicks tell us when we have momentum bursts. So for instance, if you have a wick that opens from the previous candle's close, goes up the bar size and closes, the next candle opens from that close, goes up the bar size and closes, and so on. These are momentum candles. But when you have a wick inside the candle, this is a pullback candle. And we use these candles, these pullback candles, to our advantage, and I'll explain to you how I do that in a little bit further on in the webinar. So you can see we had momentum, then we had a pullback, and then we had like a little momentum up, 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 and then it stopped. So now we'll talk about the modified LIQUIDITY. So the modified LIQUIDITY is we took all these indicators, we added our algorithm to them, and we developed the modified LIQUIDITY. So what is it? The modified LIQUIDITY does not show divergence like other oscillators. It only shows strength of trend. So it's represented by the bottom colored line that says modified LIQUIDITY signal B. So when this crosses below 20, it will turn red. When it crosses above and is sloping up, it'll be lime green. And when it crosses above 80, it'll turn dark green. And when it crosses below and is sloping down, it will be orange. So ultimately, what we're looking for is to be pinned at 100 or pinned at 0, so we get the acceleration dots. So we know we have some momentum here. Everybody following me so far? Okay, great. Now the quant lines. What do the quant lines do? And they're the third powerful force that moves price. So the quant lines are examining 28 market components, and they're examined by our AI system for correlation. Now, most people understand what correlation is, but most people don't pay attention to it, but we do. And why? Why? Because it's really important and it's really powerful. So if you have ES, NQ, RTY, YM going in the same direction, That's pretty powerful stuff. But let's say NQ, RTY, and YM are going up, but ES is going down. What do you think is going to happen to ES? ES is either going to turn around and follow the rest of the market, or it's either going to stop going down and just go sideways. All right? But correlation is very important and very powerful. You know, it's like the old saying, a rising tide floats all boats. Well, it's kind of the same. You know, when you have, let's say, the metals going up, gold and silver, they tend to follow each other, platinum. So we decided that, you know what, 3 time frames really isn't enough to give you the highest probability of trust. So we added a 4th time frame. And we developed an indicator that we call the C2 indicator. So now we're not looking at just triple screen assessment of trend, we're looking at quadruple screen assessment of trend. So, you know, the C2 indicator just adds another time frame. So if you take 18 times 3, whatever that is, that would be the next higher time frame, 7. And the C2 indicator is represented by these stair-stepping lines above the candles, green going up and red going down. So I'm putting everything together, and and then we'll go through the rules. It's really easy. Than you think, right? So the money flow tracker, the rules and the setups. First rule, you need to have a colored background, so you know you have 3 time frames in agreement. The second rule, we want the C2 indicator, so we want to have 4 time frames in agreement. The next rule is we have a solid line and a dot dash line. So going up, we always want the solid line above the dot dash line, and going down, we want it below. Rule number 4, if you run into resistance or support, a pivot, higher time frame resistance or support, the VWAP, the open, whatever you're using for support and resistance, you must wait for 3/4 of the bar to clear that, and then you must wait for a pullback candle. Okay, and I'll explain to you why we wait for a pullback candle. All right, the next rule, the quants. The top line is the short term, the bottom line is the long term. We want these either red or green. The multiple time frame Laguerre, we want either red or green, just like the quants. And the modified Laguerre, we want either red or green. We don't want to trade any other color, and we want it pinned at 100, so we get our acceleration dots. So this was the setup on this trade, and this was the outcome. So this was 63 ticks. We exit when the dot dash line changes color, from green to red, or green to yellow, or from red to yellow, or red to green. Okay, we have a tool that exits the trade when that changes color. So it keeps you in the trade longer. Right? So this was a really good trade, $630 per contract on CL. So the money flow tracker software rules will keep you out of choppy, non-trending markets, where markets like that are markets what usually leads to losses. So I have people come in and, you know, they subscribe to the money flow tracker software, and I hear this over and over and over. You know, one day I make really good money, and the next day I'm like, you know, I'm more into it and I'm like ready to trade again and this and that, and then I give it all back, right? And I know it's frustrating because I've been there, done that. Didn't even get a t-shirt. You know, it's a very frustrating thing. But the money flow tracker software will keep you out of taking trades. You won't get setups if the market is choppy and low volume. Okay, you just won't get setups. So it keeps you out of the market by not giving you a setup. But when you get a setup, you have to take it. You can't pick and choose. So it's okay not to trade every day. Your job is to come in front of your screens in the morning, wait for your setups, and when you get a setup, your job is to push the button. And that's it. That's your job. That's your whole job for the day. It's to wait and push that button when you get a setup. So here was a trade that I took on CL. Now, this broke the pivot. It came down. I got this pullback candle, pulled back and went down really fast. I couldn't even place the trade. Then I got this one. So this went up. I placed a trade, sell on down close. It entered me into the trade. I got 10 ticks on my first target. My stop goes to break even. So that's $100. And then I got 55 ticks on the exit on line change. So that's 550 plus 100. This was $650 trade, and it didn't even take a minute. This was just one of those moves that CL just kept going and going and going really fast. And you can tell it went fast because you can look at these little wicks on these candles. It went really fast. And then this candle pulled back, then this candle went down, and then we got another burst of small wicks again, momentum wicks. And then it exited. We lost a short-term quant. We lost the modified Laguerre. So it exited when its line changed color. So not bad. I traded this was like a $3,400 trade for me because I trade 6 accounts. So the money flow tracker software gives you clear and exact entries, clear and exact exits, and you get all your targets pre-configured with the ATMs that come as part of the package. All right. So let me grab a little drink here. So I'm going to teach you how I trade breakouts with the money flow tracker software. I call it the pullback and go strategy. So this strategy, we sidestep, when I mean sidestep, a lot of losing trades. So what do I mean by that? So you can see the market's coming down. We have a pivot. We have higher time frame support. Now breaks the pivot, we get the pullback candle. So as this candle's pulling back halfway or more, as soon as it gets halfway or more, that's when I place my order to sell on down close. I put my order here. So why do I do that? Because what happens, you know, a lot of times markets break support or resistance and they pull back and retest it, which this did. But what happens if this closed up? If this candle closes up, this order automatically gets canceled. You know, in this case, it went down, but a lot of times, and I'm not talking about one or two, but a lot of times today, I think we had 2 trades that broke support. We got the pullback candle, we placed the order, and it closed up, and we never got filled, and we sidestepped the losing trade. So we get a lot of these during the day. It's really helps a lot when the markets are breaking support, running stops, and not following through. Breaking resistance, running stops, and not following through. It happens all the time, and you guys as traders know this, and I've seen this over and over and over again. So the thing is that this saves us a lot of losing trades. So here's one on RTY. Broke the pivot, 3/4 of the candle, placed the order, first profit target, second profit target. Here's another one on crude oil. Here's 2 of them on the Canadian dollar. Okay, any questions? Anybody? Okay, I guess I'm doing a great job explaining everything. All right, so let's talk about the money flow tracker order trading strategy called the revolutions, but we call it Revo for short, right? So what does it do? Well, it took this trade here for 704 ticks. It took this trade here for 665 ticks. It took this trade here for 1,016 ticks, and it was torturous. Because you're in a trade and you're up 500-600 ticks, and you're like, oh, I want to take it, I want to take it, I want to take it. But I stayed in it till it exited on line change and got 1,016 ticks. Took this trade for 962 ticks. So what does it do? I'm going to open up my strategies window because it's easier for me to explain doing it this way than on a screenshot. So I'm going to go ahead and click on here. I'm going to close my template. Let's go ahead and use that one. Okay, so remember the rules. Dan, you can trade anything with it. You can trade stocks, you can trade crude, we trade crude oil, we trade gold. You can trade anything with it, all right? It works on any market. So let's keep doing here. So what was the first rule? We want the bias and we want the C2, so we turn it on. Now, this doesn't wait for a pullback handle, so I have it being delayed, the signal delayed by 1 bar, so I want the whole bar to clear the pivot. What was the stop? Was 145 ticks, and we only traded on MNQ micros. All right, so the Laguerre, we want either red or green. The multiple time frame of Laguerre, we only want red or green. The volume threshold, I don't really worry about it because it trades plenty of volume. Now we want the 50, the 15 red or green. We want the 50 to be red or green. The MA diff signal, we won't take a trade if the MA diff is above 350. So what is the MA diff? All right, so let me go ahead and do this. The MA diff is this. First of all, this number right here says MA diff, 192, right? The MA diff is telling us how far away from the 50 is price. So if it's too far away from the 50, we expect the pullback handle within a couple of ticks. With a couple bars, we get a pullback handle. And this works probably 98% of the time. When the MA diff gets too high, we get a pullback with a couple bars, right? We want to clear the pivot. We want it to clear the volume zones, which are the higher time frame support resistance. We want both quants to be red or green. Now, the first target value was 81 ticks, and it's a very important number. Why? Because if you don't have at least 81 ticks to this pivot, okay, it won't take the trade. It will wait for the bar to clear the pivot, and then it will take the trade here. Okay, so it won't trade into support or resistance. It'll, unless you have at least the first profit target. All right, that's why our first profit target is 80 ticks, but it has to go to 81 to get filled. Right? It has built-in money management. So we have lots of people to subscribe that still have jobs, and they still want to be able to trade. So I tell them, make your profit target 1,000, make your session daily loss limit 500, right? So what is this going to do? Well, first of all, if you're in a trade and let's say you're up $1,500, it's not going to close the trade at 1,000, okay? But it won't take another trade for the day. If you're down 500, it won't take another trade for the day. So either they come home and they either made money or they lost money or they didn't get a trade that day. You know, some days we don't have trade. We don't get a trade. We don't get a trade on the auto trader every single day. Okay, it all depends on the market and what the market is doing. What else here? That's pretty much it on the auto trader. I've been trading this auto trader for the last, how many years? 4.5 years. I have my, okay, so this is the equity curve for 2021 and 2022. Now, I don't have 2023 because I lost all my data and I wasn't using EdgeWonk at the time. So here's my equity curve for 2024 on the Revo. It made roughly about $44,000, just the MNQ swing trade, we call it, the Revo auto strategy. Just that, period. So it does really well. Now here's a trade that I took, that I didn't take it, it took it. And it hit my first profit target like super fast. So I turned on my recording and I wanted to record it because I felt like this was going to be a really nice trade and I wanted to be able to share it. So here, I got my first profit target. Now I'm up 260 ticks. I'm up 350 ticks here. Now, the MA diff is right here, it's 347, so it won't take another trade here, but it got above 350, and that's when I started moving my stop closer to the market because I'm expecting a pullback handle within a few bars. So it went up a few more bars. Now it's at 412. So now I'm moving it even closer. So I'm up 523, 554, 570 out. 570 ticks out on this trade. So how much was that? Well, at 2 micros off at 80 ticks is $80, right? The other two were taking off at 570. So that's $570 plus $80, $650 on this trade. There's no strategy to use, Arthur. You turn it on and let it do its thing. Okay? There's no different strategies. What it does, it follows the rules. The rules that we just went over, I just showed you the screenshot of the rules that we just did. And it does that, it follows those rules. Okay, let's keep moving on. Okay, come on, next slide. Okay, now, how to pass the evaluations. That's everybody wants to know how to pass the evaluations. Let me tell you something. The evaluations have nothing to do with your trading strategy. Okay? Focus on the process. Don't focus on the carrot. So what do I mean by that? Focus on trading well. I have two friends of mine. My friend Steve works for a brokerage firm, and my friend John is a floor trader. And my friend John told me, I asked him, how do floor traders trade? He says, first of all, he says, we never focus on the carrot. I said, what do you mean? He says, we never focus on how much money we could make. We only focus on how much money we could lose. And if you focus on that, the profits will take care of themselves. Remember, most floor traders are managing risk. That's what they do. They manage risk. So when people come into the room or people come to me and they say, I need to make $300 a day. Well, that's not the right mindset to be in when you're trading. Why? Because you're putting pressure on yourself to take trades that aren't there. Because in your mind, you feel like you need to make $200 or $300 every day. Well, what about the days we make $6,000, $7,000, $2,000? Okay? That makes up for the days that we don't take trades. So you can't look at the market on a daily basis. Okay? Because there are days that the markets are very choppy and maybe low volume, and you can't take any trades and you don't get any setups. So if you don't get setups, you don't take trades. You know, so if you focus on the process, the profits will take care of themselves. And the challenge in their evaluations, or wherever your company calls them, are really designed to make you fail because of parameters that they put in place, like how many trading days to pass. And the trailing drawdown is probably the biggest one. And let me tell you something, this summer has been extremely choppy. We've done okay, but it's been extremely choppy. And I hear all the time that, oh, I just blew another evaluation account. So what? You know how many valuation accounts I've blown? More than I want to admit. But I don't care, because here's the thing. First of all, I only buy them when they're like 90% off, okay? So it costs me $15 and change for a $50,000 account, right? So if the account gets blown, it gets blown. I just wait until it renews and it gets reset. You know, people stress so much about passing the evaluations. You know, I don't. I am more concerned, and I focus more on trading well. Trading the setups, looking at the market, seeing what the market's doing, you know, looking at the volume. Or do we have institutional order flow? Do we have enough volume? So I'm always asked, how do we tell when we have institutional order flow? Well, I'm going to show you. So obviously the markets are slow right now. All right. This number here at the bottom of the screen sets on 7. It just reset back to 1. So every minute, this number resets back to 0. So like YM. So we know if YM is trading 300 contracts a minute, we have institutional order flow. If it's trading 100 or 80 contracts a minute, we know we don't. All right, and we have different amounts for order flow for different markets. We know which one. YM is not that busy of a market, but if you have MNQ, right? So even though the markets are closed, it's still moving pretty good. You know, normally MNQ trades 33,000 contracts a minute when we have institutional order flow. Right now, it's only 20 minutes to 8 Eastern time, you know, not that. But you know what? It's 220 contracts and it's going to reset back to 0 right now. So that's how we know when we have institutional order flow. And the trailing drawdown. So yes, Joshua, if you have an account that you have hit the maximum drawdown on, just leave it, because when it renews the next month, they reset it for free. Okay, so when they're running 90% discounts or 91% discounts, you know, if I have an account that's close to the trailing drawdown, I just cancel and get a new one. You know, but they reset it on the exit. So here's my process when I trade. So if you think that you buy a $50,000 evaluation account, you're trading $50,000, you're not. All right, you're not. You're trading the drawdown. You're trading 2,500 bucks, right? So my process is I don't risk any more than 10% of my drawdown on any one trade. So for example, if I want to trade NQ, well, we use a 40 tick stop. Well, a 40 tick stop on NQ is $200 per contract, is $400 if you get stopped out. So I trade 6 micros on MNQ, and it keeps me within my risk parameter. So I know, because I just showed you my trade journal, that we're 75% win rate. I'm not worried about getting stopped out here or there. It's part of trading, right? So your win rate versus the reward. So if you're a 1-to-1 trader, you better be at least 60% profitable, 60% win rate to be profitable. Now, if you're a 2-to-1 trader, you only need to be profitable 40% of the time, which means you could be wrong 6 out of 10 times and still make money. A 3-to-1 trader, you could be wrong 7 out of 10 trades and still make money. So let that sink in. I showed you my trade journal here, right? I'm at 75% win rate and I'm a profit factor of 2.46. So I'm not really worried about this. But look at it this way. If you're a 5-to-1 trader, you could be wrong 8 out of 10 trades and still make money. And that's how professional traders do it. Most professional traders are only 40% win rate, right? So rather than avoid risk, take intelligent risk. And this will give you that competitive edge, just like this little mouse. Now, he wants that piece of cheese. He's going to get that piece of cheese. But what's his risk? This mouse trap flopping over and hitting him in the head. So he took intelligent risk and he put on his helmet. All right? That's intelligent risk. All right. Any other questions? So I showed you everything I could show you about the money flow tracker software, the auto trader. Now you have 2 options. Your first option, now if you're a profitable trader and you're making money, continue on your current path and God bless you and keep doing what you're doing. But I would say most of you are here because you're not as profitable as you want to be, as consistent as you want to be, maybe frustrated from making money one day, losing it the next day, making a little money one day, losing it the next day. You know, you can take action today and join the thousands of traders. Now, we only trade from 9:30 till 11, okay? So, you know, we can find, if we don't get trades between those hours, then, you know, we just call it the day. So the money flow tracker system, the benefits and the features are, it's easy to learn and you get all the workspaces and templates included. It's perfect for beginners. I wish that I had this when I was a beginner. It's perfect for any account size. I have traders in the room, some people that just trade a couple of micros, and I have one guy that trades 150 contracts at a time. And I have another guy that trades 50 contracts at a time. I only trade 2 contracts at a time. That's good enough for me. And you can use this on futures, Forex, stocks. You can trade options from the stock signals and cryptos. You can use it on anything. So for the first 10 traders that come aboard, we have some powerful additional software. So the first thing you'll get is the, excuse me, the market scanner. So this is my market, hold on a second, please. Okay, this is my market scanner. We use Renko bars, so that's why I'm showing you this. So for instance, on CL, it's showing us a sell because we traded 2-5-10 on CL. So it's showing us a sell condition. Now, it's not telling you that you have a setup. It's just telling you, go look at CL chart. You have at least the colored background. You have a condition that could be a sell. You might not have a setup, but go look at it. This is a $9.99 value. You'll get this as part of your package. Now you'll get the NDT. Now the NDT is a strategy, right? And this is where we place our orders to buy on up close or sell on down close, or close on down close or close on up close. This is where you put your ATMs. This is where you put your account. And it's easy because you just click on one button to place the trade. Now this is a $14.99 value. You get that as part of your pack. You'll get the Masterclass series on futures, forex, stocks, and options. Now, these are very good. I've watched them a couple of times. You'll get 1 month in my trade room. Now, our trade rooms were part of a study that this Dr. Victor Allen did. And in his study, he reviewed more than 225 trading websites and evaluated them using several factors, including transparency, proven track record, and assisting traders with education materials and online support. And we came out on top. And this was published in Traders World and Stock and Commodities Magazine. So this is a special offer that we're doing this evening. We're giving 50% off across the board. So if you want a quarterly subscription, normally it was $11.94. At 50% off, it's $5.97. The annual subscription is normally $23.94. We're doing $11.97. And a one-time subscription, lifetime subscription, is normally $39.92. We're doing it for $19.97. Will, you would have to talk to Rory about that. I don't know. You bought it almost 5 years ago, so I don't know. You'd have to call him. And this is a special discount we're doing for this webinar. So here's my commitment to you, is that when you subscribe to the Money Flow Tracker software, is to help you become a successful trader. You know, I was a struggling trader too before I got the Money Flow Tracker software. But you know what? It's like I said, when you subscribe to the Money Flow Tracker, it's to help you become a successful trader. I'm not sitting there and pushing the buttons with you, but I call out trades in the trade room. So remember, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. Again, if you're not successful, it's not your fault. It's just you're not using the right tools to be successful, okay? The Money Flow Tracker software uses mathematical modeling, okay? And, you know, the analogy I use is that it's like trying to pound a nail into a piece of wood with a screwdriver. Yeah, if you sit there and hit it long enough, you'll probably get it in there. But if you use the hammer, the right tool, 1 or 2 shots with the hammer and you're done, right? So, you know, if you're not trading with institutional order flow, you're missing out. You know, the Money Flow Tracker software is totally unique and will give you that edge to trade with institutional order flow, like I just said. So my commitment to you is not just about how to read the setups. I could teach a 5-year-old to read the setups. That's the easy part, but also help you develop the mental mindset. you must have in order to achieve financial independence. You know, trading doesn't take any physical skill, okay? It's very mental. And the market makers know this, and they know how to fake out retail traders, but we don't get faked out on them. So in the questions box, if you go to your GoToWebinar control panel, there is a link under the chat window, not the questions window, the chat window. There's a link. If you click on this link, it will bring you to the Money Flow Tracker page on our website. And in order to sign up, you just click here, sign up. And this will, you don't need to apply the coupon, it's already applied. So here you go, $23.94 minus 50%, $11.97. And next year, when you renew your subscription, September 11, 2026, you will pay the same amount. Okay, we're not going to raise the price after the first year. All right, we really haven't raised prices in a while, but we're not going to raise the price on you. Should be guaranteed next year when you renew, you'll get the same price. So just fill out all your information and we'll contact you and somebody will install all the software for you, no problem. Probably Rory or Charles, I'm not 100% sure, but if you click on that link, that's how you subscribe. So quick, run to the link and subscribe, everybody. Anyway, if you'd like to speak with us, if you have more questions, if you put your name and your phone number in the questions box, we will give you a call after the webinar. And if you put your name in the questions box, then you will be guaranteed to go get all the extra bonuses, even if we go over 10 people. All right? So that would lock you into being in. So look, it's a well-known fact that 95 to 98% of day traders and swing traders are losing money. Just like this guy here, retail trader, might as well just flush his money down the toilet. It's kind of crude, but you know what? It's true. My friend Steve, that's work at a brokerage house firm. He told me, he said, we love when retail traders open up a personal account because I said, what do you mean you love it? He said, because we know that money will be gone within a few weeks or a few days or a month. He says it happens all the time. People come in, they open a $10,000 account. Next thing you know, that account is gone. So, okay, Josh, how about if he gives you a call in the morning at like 9 o'clock? Okay? All right, great. But not our traders. Why? Because our traders, we're trading along with institutional traders. So when this guy's losing money, who's taking it? The institutional trader. So if you know that this guy loses money all the time, why would you want to trade along with them? All right? We want to trade with institutional traders, not when just retail traders are trading among themselves. Right? So again, this is our special discount we're doing this evening. 50% off a quarterly, 50% off annually, and 50% off lifetime. So this is a reel of a bunch of our trader testimonials. But this particular woman, let's see, this particular woman, her friend is in my trade room. Right? You just call him Willie, the number is on the website. And she has a friend that's in my trade room and she wanted to learn how to trade, and she asked him to teach her how to trade. And he said, look, why don't you contact Mark? He'll tell you everything you want. And because he didn't really want to be responsible or feel, you know, if she lost money. So that's what she did. She talked to Mark, and she says here, Mark taught me things, right? So we sat her down in front of a computer, taught her setups, and after 4 months, right, she got her first account, passed the evaluation, got funded, and now to make a long story short, now she's a six-figure trader. And I asked her, you know, I spoke to her on the phone. I asked her, do you trade every day? And her answer was, if I don't have no setup, I don't take no trade. That's it. That's all she said. I said, that's what we do. We don't have a setup, we don't take a trade. Here's a gentleman that just passed May. He wrote this on the Trustpilot. I've been trading for 25 years. I can honestly say the money flow tracker system was one of the smartest tools I've added to my toolbox. The layout of a single chart gives me everything I need at one glance. And it's true. That's one thing that really attracted me to it when I first got involved. This was an email sent in from a guy that was in a webinar just like you, and he sent me a message in the questions box, and his message was, I am the world's worst trader. I've been at this for a long time. One day I make money, one day I lose money, one day I lose money, one day I make money. He said, and he was thinking of quitting trading. But he said, I really like the software and I really like how you present and everything. Will you help me? I said, sure. So about 3 months later, he wrote this into Rightline. He said, I started watching David's room every morning, learning the trade methodology and the rules. We only take specific setups. When we follow rules, we have a success rate around 70%. He says, I now have 7 accounts at Apex and 7 accounts at Phoenix. Well, as of today, he has 20 accounts at Apex. He's got 10 accounts at Fuelnox, and he's got accounts in other places too. And I don't know why he needs so many accounts, but that's what he has. Then he goes on and says, the money flow tracker software, along with David's methodology and rules for trading, allow me to act like a robot and eliminate any guesswork or emotions from my trading. We use the NDT, which I just showed you, which allows a single push button to enter a trade when we see the correct setup, following the rules. So every day he looks at it as simple. See setup, push button, see setup, push button, see setup, push button. That's it. About a week ago, he sent me this message in the GoToWebinar in the room questions box. He wrote $4,265, traded only 4 accounts. I could ring the bell and he left for the day. And look at it, he only traded for 1 hour and 6 minutes. Basically an hour because I don't trade the first 5 minutes of the open. Right? And here's a guy that said to me he was the world's worst trader. So again, this is our special that we're doing. The link is, hold on, Rory's sending me a message. He says, I want you to welcome Tyra, John, Pam, Talib, and Craig. Welcome, guys, to the Money Flow Tracker software. I really look forward to working with you in the room. And congratulations, you made a good decision. And again, if you put your name and your phone number in the questions box, if you have questions you want to ask us after, or you want to just make your purchase online, you will be guaranteed all the extra bonuses by doing that, and we'll give you a call right after the webinar. All right, and that's it. That's all I got. I kept it to about an hour, which I promised. Does anybody have any questions now they want me to answer? I know Rory's been answering a ton of questions. Anybody? I'm going to pull up my, before we go, I'm just going to pull up my trade journal again. And I want to show you something here. Here is my chart lab. Here is my performance by day. So let's see. This is 180 days. So it only goes back 6 months. So this is from March, right? March 16th till today. So look how many days that we have winning days. Look at this one day, $4,000. Another day, $39.92. Another big day, $2,600. But you know what? I would say we probably average, I would say if I average this out, we're probably looking about $500–600 a day, right? But more important, it's what did you do at the end of the week? So this actually breaks down on my monthly reports. This actually breaks down the weeks, goes week by week. So I'm going to open up the whole week, every week for this year, and show you. How many weeks did we have losing weeks? None here, none here, none here, none here. We had 1 week we lost $256. And this really wasn't a week, there was only a couple of days from May, 3 days, right? No losing weeks, no losing weeks, some nice winning weeks, right? This was only, we lost $700 the last week in August. That was our worst week the whole year, $700. So I wanted to share that with you because I like to be transparent. And that's, which instrument do I like the best? The one that's trending. That was a pretty good answer, don't you think? The one that's trending is the one I like the best. I don't care what the instrument is. First of all, look, we trade a lot of MNQ. We trade YM. We don't do a whole lot of trades on gold. Crude oil used to be a great market to trade. We used to trade crude oil a lot, but the last year or so, crude oil has been really kind of a dull market. We just started trading RTY again, but to answer your question, I like to trade the market that's trending. Really, it doesn't matter to me what the symbol is, because to me, I don't care what the symbol is. I only care what the chart's doing. So again, thank you for attending this webinar. I really appreciate it. You will get a recording of this either this evening or in the morning. If you want to purchase and you don't have the link, you can always go to rightlinetrading.com and click on Money Flow Tracker. All right. Thank you for attending. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon, depending on where you're at. We have traders from all over the world that trade with the Money Flow Tracker. So take care and good night.